ahead and get in your bar stools, get your drinks, slam down some shots, and let's get ready to have a great conversation, hang out, and have a good time. I'm Keenan, your host, as always. We are here with Ultimate Gamer. He is a writer, reviewer, and poet. I saw some poetry in there.
Oh no. I weren't supposed to see that as a meme.
Too bad I found it.
Oh, shit.
Call me Sean Evans. I do deep dives. But we're here talking about his writing technique, his writing style, what kind of got him into it, just the general story of things. We're just going to kind of make it free form, have a good time. I'm going to go ahead and drop a link to his WordPress so you guys can go see what he's got over there in the chat right now. Boom. So you guys save that link after the video. Go over there, give him some love, read some of his stuff, give some feedback, what you think, what you like, what you don't like, and just get engaged, everybody. So, what's up, buddy? How you doing today?
I'm actually pretty nervous.
Hey, man, it's all good, dude. It's all good. There's nothing to be nervous about. We're super chill here. No judgments. We're all here to just have a fun time. But it's great to have you on, man. Really excited.
Thanks for having me.
It's no problem, man. We're gonna have a good time. So, we went and talked about how people can find you. If you guys want to see, go ahead and give him a follow on Twitter. His Twitter handle is right under that profile picture. Go ahead and give him a follow. Give him a like, talk to him, have some fun. So, is there anything you're working on right now?
There's a couple of things, both like short-term and long-term, but I want to focus on the short-term stuff since that's the most important.
Yeah.
And it's important that I just do that right now.
Right.
Having said that, first thing I'm working on is review of Horrorberg Productions Super Punch Patrol. Then after that, or somewhere in between, I plan on doing a comparative analysis of Bohemia Interactive's Vigor, and in that I intend to juxtapose my thoughts on its beta with its prison version. And then I also plan to do a retrospective article that aims to cover the progress of my blog in 2020 and what my intentions are moving forward.
Nice. So, this is actually the first time I've had a reviewer on here. What kind of stuff do you like to review? Like, I noticed you do a lot of video game stuff, but do you ever branch out anywhere else, or is it mostly just video game stuff?
It's mostly video game stuff, but from time to time, I'll do some other things. For example, I had an article where I did a 3-in-1 review, which is, it's what it says. I reviewed 3 television shows and movies, not each, but all together. But that's only like on occasion. I mainly do video game stuff.
Okay, cool. So what are some of your favorite games right now?
Right now, I guess Fall Guys. That shit sucked for a while.
Yeah.
Season 1 and Season 2 didn't really have a lot of replayability and things got repetitive quite quickly. But Season 3's mini games have a lot more variety built into them, so whenever I play that, I've been enjoying it.
Did all the little kids finally go away from that, or are they still kind of packing that in?
Yeah, I don't know. They don't really tell you.
Yeah, I know, but
you can't really see.
I know it was packed for a while there, and then it started to die out once Among Us came out. It was crazy how those two just took over everything for a year, and then they just kind of fizzled out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it died down, but it's still active.
Nice.
They just got a Doom crossover.
They had a Doom crossover?
Yeah, I think it's over now, but it's pretty funny.
That's awesome. I didn't know that. I might have to get that game. I haven't played it yet. I've been meaning to play it. I just never got around to buying it. I bought Among Us, and that got so fucking toxic so quick. I was just like, nope, I'm out.
Do you play with randoms?
Yeah.
I can see that.
I played with my D&D group for a while, but then we stopped hanging out and playing D&D, and they started going to Ark, and I was like, all right, this, I'll just play some randoms, and that was a dark hole I didn't want to be in.
it's a mixed bag. At least they have it to keep the game alive.
Yeah,
Without it, I don't think it'd still be active.
yeah. I mean, it's still better than what Apex has going on.
Yeah, this label was like the Fortnite killer, and just kind of died down 2 weeks or so after.
Yeah, well, it stayed strong, and then now they're having a whole bunch of server issues, and they started fucking with skill-based matchmaking and all kinds of stuff, and then cheaters are running rampant, and it's just not fun. It's not fun anymore.
Yeah,
I've
it
seen a lot of
sucks.
people back off of it. Um,
Which is disappointing because I was looking forward to trying it out.
yeah, I still have a few friends. Charlie, my buddy Charlie, still plays it, and he streams on Twitch too. Um, he actually, I just finished ordering he just finished ordering the last bit of his PC, and I'm gonna have to call him this weekend and help him build it. He's never built a PC before, and I'm gonna have to build it remote.
Yeah, building PCs are hard, which is why I didn't fuck with it. I just bought a pre-made laptop.
I did mine. I built mine, and then I actually built his brother's remote as well. So I've already got a little bit of experience in it, but it was a pain in the ass. So, so how did you get your start in writing? Like, what kind of started you down that path?
Uh, I didn't actually start on any conventional social media. I began sharing creations of mine on Miiverse, which, if you don't know, it's a now defunct kid-friendly social media platform that was accessible on the 3DS and Wii U.
Oh
Shit,
shit, I do
shit was
remember that.
fucking. There's like vague memories of what once was.
Yeah, I
Shit
didn't.
was wilder than the Wild West. There were like kids asking each other to become their girlfriends and girlfriends. There
Oh,
were like questionable role playing shit, and people getting like gunned down by admins with bans left and right for even thinking about the word frick.
yeah, that shit reminds me of Habbo Hotel. I was like 13, 14 when that came out, and that was like the hottest shit, and everybody was on Habbo Hotel doing that. I remember they all be like, "Will you be my girlfriend? Will you be my boyfriend?" And it just got way out of hand.
What was even more unsettling about Miiverse was like it was pretty much all kids.
Yeah, yeah. Habbo Hotel was the same way. It was aimed towards
Oh,
kids and
was it?
stuff, and
Oh,
it was just like the shit that would be posted in there. And then there was a whole thing where I think 4chan got together and raided Habbo Hotel every day, and uh they would block all the pools in this same outfit, and nobody would be able to get into the pools, and it got so bad that it actually had to shut down Habbo Hotel. It caused them to shut down.
the day humanity started to die.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, it was you know what? That was the first coordinated attack on a big company, and now we're here with GameStop stocks going to the moon, baby.
Oh no, you're gonna check the hedge funders, they'll get you.
Oh my
See, your
god.
dog is warning you. Ignore
Yeah.
the threats.
Hey, calm down. Thank you. Uh yeah, the hedge funders are coming for me, but GameStop's going to the moon, baby. Uh but yeah, so you started writing on Miiverse, huh?
Yeah.
What kind of stuff would you post on there?
uh, Still reviews.
Oh, just reviews of stuff.
Yeah, reviews and maybe some other things once in a while. Like for some reason, I had a really weird phase where I wanted to constantly do theories of different games just because. It was probably because I was watching Game 3 and I was obsessed with that at the time. So I just come up with whatever the fuck. Just to say, oh, here's a theory, think about it. Oh, it'll really make you think differently.
Is Mario transgendered? Let's find out.
His mustache tells all.
Yeah, right? Oh my god. Um that's crazy, dude. I didn't even think that like Miiverse would have been a platform for anyone to go to. That's such a like interesting choice.
It it wasn't a platform for anyone to go to. I just didn't have access to anything else. That's why I went.
Hey man, necessity breeds ingenuity.
guess.
Oh my gosh. So, once you got out of the Miiverse section, did you move on to WordPress or did you find somewhere else to go?
No, I decided to go to Tumblr.
Hey, look, there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of people there and some very questionable fan fiction, but
There's everything wrong with that.
oh,
I mean, I had some good editing options, which I think attracted me to it, but it was it wasn't the best place for what I was looking to do.
yeah, Tumblr can get bogged down with a bunch of stupid shit. That's
Like I
I
always got followed by like 10,000 porn bots.
every time it'll happen. I
I'm
think
like, oh,
they still pop up on mine, and like I don't even use it anymore. Like I used to use it to follow some writing blogs and some artists that I liked and stuff like that, and every now and then I'll just go see what's new on there, and it's just like, hey, follow me, and I'm like, no thanks.
they come out of nowhere. Like every time I got a new follower, I check my email. Like, oh, cool. And then once I open, I just get slapped in the face with tits or a cock.
Yep. Yep, it was quite brutal. So from Tumblr, where'd you go? You went to WordPress, or did you have another? Did you like post on a toaster, or?
No, no, that's what I'm gonna do next when WordPress
Ah,
doesn't work. No, after Tumblr, I went to WordPress.
okay. Hey man, look, if Skyrim can play on a fridge, you can write on a toaster. Oh man. So, in your fiction writing, what's some of the inspirations that you draw from when you write?
Uh, I've only done like two short stories. The first one uh, was basically, oh my god, this is so stupid. I used to have an old joke where
Oh,
I'd
I know. I
pretend
read
I
this one. Yeah,
yeah I'd pretend I had an addiction to sucking people's toes, and I manifested that into a story about a monster that did that.
that's
It's
some
so
shit me and my buddies would come up with, dude. I swear to God. Don't feel awkward about that, man. Oh my. Me and my buddy Charlie and our friend, we used to come up with the craziest shit like that. Do not feel bad. We would always do that kind of shit.
I'm gonna feel bad if you don't mind.
Hey, look, you gotta write about shit that you like think about. Not in that sense, but like you gotta write about shit that pops into your head, and hey, we okay. So my buddy Charlie was trying to write a movie one day, and it was like gonna be a haunted house movie, and we would sit around riffing ideas for ghosts, and then one day we were just dead tired, 3 in the morning, and he was like, dude, what kind of ghost are we gonna come up with? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, what the fuck? Like, we come up with this, we come up with that. He's like, dude, I got it. Why don't we have a ghost that flies around with a big pink dildo and just rams it in people's ears? Like, you fucking stupid. We just randomly, when we're talking now, we'll just be like, watch the dildo ghost. Ooh.
The dildo of death.
It's crazy how this shit pops into your head. Oh my god. But yeah, I read your other one. A man walks into a bar. I really enjoyed that one too.
Thanks. I made that one. This is going back to when you asked like what was the inspiration
Yeah,
or
yeah.
why did I make stuff. Uh, it was after I asked for feedback on an update that was incorporating a narrative of sorts into it, and the main criticism was it wasn't cohesive at all. It just kind of felt like things were happening with little connecting anything. So I
Right.
figured I'd just focus on one thing, which was taking the kind of the switch up for the man walks into a bar joke and someone says "ow" to the highest possible extreme, and then just going from there.
Yeah, it
Kind of like doing focus stuff.
it escalated very quickly. But I really enjoyed it. It almost had I don't know if you ever read this. Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge. Um,
Never heard of it.
so it's kind of the same, but it's not the same. This guy is about to get hanged. He was a POW in the Civil War, and they were about to hang him off this bridge. And the rope snaps, and he escapes, and he runs home, and all this other stuff. And this is a really old book. If you get pissed that I spoil it, I rightly don't give a fuck. You should have read it in high school anyway. But he,
I'm gonna lose all the potential to read it. You're
uh,
ruining my life.
okay, just go read it. I won't spoil it. Just go read it.
Oh, thank you.
I
Thank
really,
you.
I
200 years in the making. That story has been building up anticipation. I can't just spoil it right now.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, it kind of gave me those kind of vibes. But I really did enjoy it. It was really cool. Um, so in your journey, have you had anybody to like mentor you, or did you kind of just start on your own? I mean, obviously you started with the reviews on your own, but did you have anybody that like you talked to while you were doing the writing, like the fiction and stuff like that, or even with the reviews? Did you have somebody you go to kind of learn from, or did you just kind of learn on your own?
When I was first starting out, I wrote for a site called Universal Game Reviews, which honestly later became End World Gaming and is now the social media based I don't know, variety gaming channel Daily Game Bites.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they kind of taught me the basics, allowed me to write for them, get a get a basic understanding of what writing reviews is all about, and a bit about game journalism and making connections, what to do, what not to do. It's very
Okay.
helpful for starting out.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty cool that you had a whole like pretty much a community around you to help you learn how to do all this stuff. Um, it's kind of the same thing with writers in like the comic book and fiction writing community. If you can find a good set of people to get around and help you, not so much because I say this all the time, and I said it. Sorry about that. I said it like I think last week or the week before. It's good having people there that can help critique your work and show you what you're doing wrong, but there also needs to be a separation of your voice and their voice. You don't need to let their voice become your voice, kind of thing. And I find
Right.
that a lot of people, and like, as I'm going along talking to people, a lot of people do it on their own. And that's great. And, you can do a lot on your own, and learning on your own is great. But I always advocate to have a group of people or somebody you can go to just for editing and framework help. Not so much ideas and inspirations and stuff like that, but somebody to help you show you the fundamentals and the building blocks, and you build off of that on your own. Because it's like trying to teach yourself guitar, and you wind up teaching yourself to never use your pinky. Yeah, you can play guitar, but you're missing a fundamental part of playing because you're not as versatile as you should be because you don't have that building block that you need. You know,
Playing guitar is painful. I tried learning that.
I've been playing for a long time. But and that's actually a personal thing for me because I taught myself, and when I did that, I taught myself to not play with my pinky. So when I started getting more advanced and I started learning stuff, I wasn't able to hit certain solos or certain runs that I wanted to hit because my fingers weren't stretching the way they needed to because I wasn't using my pinky. And then I had to relearn how to play the guitar with my pinky because it wouldn't it was hindering me. And then once I learned, I was able to play a little better. Um, so, what are some of the themes you try to go? Well, I know you do reviews. So let's tweak that question a little bit. Um, what genres do you review more than others? And in your fiction, what themes do you like to pull? So we'll do a double question on that.
Uh, I don't really go out of my way to review a certain kind of game. I'm pretty accepting of all genres, even ones I'm not ordinarily a fan of, like sports simulation games or real-time strategy stuff. I'm not adverse to trying them.
Right.
I'm pretty open when it comes to doing stuff.
Okay. So then let me ask you this: what are your thoughts on EA and the whole Madden situation?
I don't really play Madden.
Oh, okay. No, there's a whole deal with EA. They're just running the game into the ground. It's bad. Like
Yeah,
they're
I heard something about it like being ultra buggy.
it is very buggy. Like you'll fumble the ball and nobody can pick it up, and the only way to end the play is to kick it out of bounds.
Well, it's just a unique feature. Like
Yeah,
gotta appreciate innovation.
yeah, innovation. So what about your fiction? I mean, I know you've only done a few pieces, but what kind of themes do you like to go for in your fiction stuff?
Wasn't really going for any themes.
Yeah,
If someone pulls something from them, that's fine. But they're usually just humorous, or what is supposed to be humorous, gimmicky short stories.
right. Um, so who are a few of your favorite writers? It doesn't have to be
Uh,
literary or anything like that. It could be songwriters, uh, you know, whatever, any kind of writer.
I don't I don't really have a lot of favorite writers, but it's kind of a boring response. So I'll just say that or I guess Angela Duckworth is someone who has impacted me with her grit, the power, passion, and perseverance recently.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I say this because, as repetitively delivered and obvious its titular idea is, it does deconstruct its topic well enough to have really made me think about why I do what I do.
Yeah. So like, okay, then what kind of stuff did that make you realize about why you do what you do? Like, what did that kind of bring out in you?
What it did is it made me think about what I was doing in a much larger light, uh, compelling me to connect it to an overarching purpose of some sort to make me realize my primary motivation behind what I was doing, which I had thought about lightly but never really fully delved into.
Right. And that's something that a lot of people, you when you listen to people talk about their work and talk about what they do, you can tell when people you can tell when people hit that point. And ooh, you all right there?
Yeah, sorry,
No,
audio stuff.
no, you're good. You can tell when people hit that point of they finally realize why they're doing what they're doing. You know, uh, I'm a firm believer in um, just because you're passionate about something doesn't mean that just because you're excited about something doesn't really mean you believe in it. And I see a lot of writers tend to put themselves in situations or write about certain things because it's popular and because they think it'll make them famous or whatever. But that's not what they want to do. And you can tell in their voice that that's not what they want to do. But once they switch and find what they want to do and, the reason they're doing this, it comes through in their writing and it comes through in the way they talk about their stuff. Um, and it's cool that you were able to use another author's work to kind of come to that epiphany moment of you know this is why I'm doing it. This is what I want to accomplish. This is what I want to do.
Now I understand my actions for the past few years.
Right.
I'm
So
so glad I figured it out in retrospect.
hindsight's always 2020. um. So what was it? So what kind of drives you? What's your what's your purpose for doing all of this?
Um, put very formally, because this is something I've thought about a lot.
Yeah.
I want to legitimize gaming as a medium, or
Okay.
more specific. Are you okay? Did the hedge
Yeah.
funders finally find you?
No, I just kind of rolled my chair and my dog got scared.
Um, anyway, more specifically, trying to remove the negative stigma that surrounds gaming as opposed to other mediums. Well, things like video games cause violence or they're just toys. Um, I
That's
want to focus.
that's such an archaic way of thinking, and I hate that people do that. You know, still think, oh, video games cause violence, and oh, it's just stupid. You'll never really make money off of that. The things that people have accomplished through video games is so much bigger than anybody could realize. Um, you know, this shit helps people through major issues in their life and depression and stuff like that. You know, people have found their outlet to help get shit off their chest through video games. And it's also brought a lot of people together. Now, it has also caused a lot of damage in some places. I'm looking at you, Modern Warfare 2 chat lobbies. Uh, but for the most part, video games have brought a lot of people together. And, you know, it's
Right.
created whole communities of people just sharing their love for one thing. And on top of that, a lot of these games, like one of my favorite games of all time is Skyrim. It created a whole culture of people adding on to a project and making it a better game. And it allows people to learn a skill and to hone a skill in game development. And I don't know if this is correct. I'm kind of speaking out of my ass here, but there's got to be some kind of way it's right that I'm sure Bethesda's pulled from somebody that's done a really good mod job and offered him a job working for him. You know, and
It's not impossible.
yeah, but you know, in games from a writing standpoint, there are some games that are incredibly moving and play out almost like an Oscar-winning film. You know, you look at games like The Last of Us and what else? Even like Jedi Fallen Order. The end scene where you know the last boss fight, you feel. Have you played Fallen Order yet?
No, I was worried you were about to spoil it.
Okay, I stopped myself. I stopped myself. Just brace it. Brace up for the end boss fight. I'll just say that. Um, but there was okay. Perfect example. I know it's girly, and I know it's you know it's a teen girl story, but it's still one of my favorite games. Um, Life is Strange. You know, it's a point and click adventure game. Uh,
I know what you're talking about. I couldn't stand the fucking dialogue.
the dialogue was it was rough, but it was still a good game. I enjoyed it.
And the mechanic kind of removed the consequences of your actions.
Oh, it did. It 100% did. And there are flaws in it. There really are. But I fucking threw myself into that game for a long time just playing around with it and seeing where I could go because I like that kind of stuff. I really like that. I like that game. There are flaws with it. I'll give you that. There are really bad flaws in it, but I did enjoy it. But like the Arkham series, the Batman Arkham series, those games are fucking great too. My only flaw with that series is what they did to Joker and going from being the Joker to just Hulk smash. And it was
Yeah,
just
that was pretty dumb.
it was just like that's not what the Joker's supposed to be, man. The Joker's supposed to
I
be
didn't like that
smart.
boss fight.
Yeah, he's supposed to be smart and cunning. He's not supposed to be this like big hulking brute that just smashes things. Leave that to Bane and let Joker have his fun. um, but Arkham City was fucking great. Arkham City is another one of my favorite games. I think I've played that game at least 3 or 4 times.
It's
Um,
been too long since I played it.
and it also featured Panic at the Disco in the soundtrack, and that's like my favorite band of all time. So that was a plus as well. Um,
Yeah, but I absolutely get what you're talking about when you say things can be impactful. And that's kind of what I want to highlight as well. How elements of games can be meaningful to people, whether it be telling an impactful story or mechanics setting games apart and uniquely being able to enhance stories or tell tales in and of themselves. For example, Undertale
Yeah,
not only is one of the most unique games I've played because it can only exist as a video game since its plot is partially tied to subverting RPG tropes,
right.
uh, all for the purpose of telling a story about morality that uh, got me to go from valuing life to cherishing it, which that might seem like the same thing, but it's a complete difference.
Oh yeah, yeah, 100%. 100%. And I really enjoyed that game too. Um, through and through, the writing was great, the design was amazing, the mechanics were good. Frustrating as fuck for the fights, but I still enjoyed it. Um,
Alphys is fuck Alphys. So annoying.
I uh, I actually got into that game from Game Grumps, watching Steam Train with Ross and Barry play through it, and it was really I really enjoyed their playthrough because they did a lot of cool commentary on it. Um, but yeah, and that was, like with Life is Strange for me, it wasn't really so much of the dialogue and like the mechanics, it was the atmosphere of the game. I loved the soundtrack. I still listen to the soundtrack all the time. Uh, but the atmosphere and like the mood of the game really appealed to me, and I enjoyed that. Um, but in these games still can transcend time. Earthbound is still a phenomenal fucking game.
I haven't played that.
Oh, Earthbound's
I
if
know.
you like Undertale, you'll like Earthbound.
I know, or I've heard that Undertale takes a lot of inspiration from Earthbound. I just don't think I have anything that can play it.
Yeah, you'd have to get an emulator to play it, and that's kind of
It's a pain in the ass.
yes, very much so. Um, so what kind of pitfalls or hangups have you had? Uh, you know, writing reviews or writing fiction. Like what kind of blocks have you come across, and what did you do to kind of get yourself unstuck from those situations?
Oh boy. A big one was when I had moved to Tumblr and was there for I think maybe a year or so. I started to request codes for games in an effort to experience a lot of things at a single time or around the same time, thinking that it wouldn't take a while to handle them. Even though I was requesting codes like every other day. Um, Yeah, that ended up taking me on a fun journey that lasted about 2 years, trying to handle reviewing all of the stuff I had requested.
Yeah,
It was a very tough period because I'd enter a cycle where I'd feel guilty for not doing anything, and then I'd start doing something. I'd feel burned out and don't and can't do more work, and then because of that, I'd feel more guilty, and then the cycle would just continue until I finally fucking finish that shit.
dude, 100%. I feel that. Working on the comic book, you want to push so hard to get a project out, and you want it to work so bad. For me, it's I'm kind of a perfectionist when it comes to my writing, and if I don't
Same.
if I don't like something, I'm going to revise it until it is ready, until I like it.
Oh my god, yeah.
And
Yeah, I also 100% get that.
yeah, right. And the the thing is though is that the editing and the revising just like one page of script or one page of a story or something like that, and you just take 3 weeks to do it, and by the time you finish it you're like,
Yep.
great, I got this page done. Fuck, I don't want to do this anymore. And then you stop, and then 3 months later you're like, I really should get back working on that. And then you pop back and you realize how little you've done, and you're like, fuck, all right, I guess I'll start this chug again. And it was funny. So when I started getting back into podcast, when I started getting into the podcast, and I was going through making sure I had enough stuff to get ready to do a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo for my comic, I was like, fuck yeah, I have a whole issue done. It's done. It's ready to go. The only thing I need to do is get it lettered, but it's drawn. I've got the script all finished for it. Let's get it done. And I sent it to some people to look at, and I was like, hold on, I gotta find the other half of it. Yeah, there was no fucking other half of it. I didn't finish it.
Yeah, I heard this from one of the other episodes. I watched a clip, I think.
And that was one of the most devastating fucking things I've ever felt in my writing life. Was thinking for so long that I had this. I did it. I fucking yeah, let's go, let's go. And I'm like, I only have half. Sorry.
I think that's worse than my situation, arguably. Because in my case, I knew what I had to do. It was just a difficult task. It was very daunting.
Yeah.
Whereas you thought you had done everything, only to find out that you had a shit ton more to do.
Depression is a hell of a drug.
Yep, tell me about it.
Oh yeah, that was a bad time in my life. I was living in a fucking rickety ass trailer, working as a mechanic from fucking 5:30 in the morning till 8:30 at night, and I just had no will to do anything whatsoever except sleep when I got home. And it was just, whew, it was rough. Um, so what are you kind of like? What's your main focus right now? Is it writing? Is it school? Is it work? You know, and how do you balance your personal life with your writing schedule?
Well, I'm doing an independent study this semester.
Okay, cool.
That's researches how mechanics can enhance or tell stories, which kind of makes writing my main focus
Oh,
along with
yeah.
school. So I've found a way to intertwine it and hopefully also located a method of giving myself some more time to do some more work on the side, take care of the projects I mentioned before, which is particularly important because I got those because of review codes, and I need to honor those and want to honor those as best as possible.
Right. Um. So what are you majoring in?
English.
Okay. Just English, not like creative writing or anything like that. Well, yeah, I
Not
guess
just
yeah.
English. I feel like the other stuff would be too specific. If it was
Right.
journalism, they'd teach me bullshit standards that would lead to dry, bland, repetitive
Yep.
shit shows that aren't thought provoking, original, creative, or entertaining at all. Which is pretty much the problem that seems to be the case for the games journalism industry, along with some other stuff, to say the least.
Yeah. Well, there's also fucking getting paid off to write good reviews and IGN giving everything a 7 or higher. Uh.
I don't think it's necessarily being paid off. I think it's just a cultural thing within the industry wherein people work on sites that get ads. So it's not like a direct payment to the reviewers to do stuff, but if they give something a bad score, uh, especially for a game that is currently being advertised on their site, then presumably they're experiencing a lot of anxieties over criticizing it to the fullest possible extent. So they restrain themselves,
Yeah. It's
which
kind
is
of
not good.
yeah, but
Uh,
it's kind of like they're held hostage by their review kind of thing. You know, because if you give it a bad review, there's a chance you're going to lose that ad revenue. And if you give it a good review and it's a bad game, you look like an asshole. You know,
it
and
is it is a lose lose, partially because of the community as well, because it seems that people who play games and then watch reviews hold people to an unfair standard, which is not being honest. No, that's not unfair at all. What I'm talking about is that they kind of want to slaughter them just for having an opinion and for giving a game a score that's too high or too low.
yeah,
And on a side note, I fucking hate scores. I used to do those, and I spent so much time and effort that was greater than focusing on building up content in an article into thinking, well, how does this compare to this? And what does this score mean? Or should it be 0.5 scores higher? Should it be 0.25? It makes all the difference.
Right.
And I just fucking did away with that because it was so useless and time consuming.
I like the grading scale, just doing A, B, C, D, E, or F, and whatever you got, kind of thing. Um, so do you watch a lot of game reviewers on YouTube?
Not ones who would be deemed like normal game reviewers.
Oh,
I
okay.
watch people like Video Game Donkey, Scott the Woz.
Oh, Donkey and Waz.
Uh,
I love,
those are two like
I
more
love the,
creative ones.
I love those guys. Donkey's whole stint that he did recently, where he was like, "I'm gonna be a
Yeah.
Minecraft player," was just the best. The best. It was great seeing content come from him every day, and it was just shitting on everybody.
I don't know, but it was bad content. Now you have to dislike the videos.
uh, and the only reason I know about Scott the Woz is because I'm in the JonTron subreddit, and there was a point for a while where John disappeared for like a year, and then the whole sub became a Scott the Woz sub. They just replaced him. And then he came back and was like, "Who the fuck is Scott the Woz, and why is he on my sub?" So I went and watched him, and I was like, "Hey, this guy's pretty good. I like him." And then John came back, and it went back to being a JonTron sub. Actually, it was a JonTron sub up until about 3 months ago, 4 months ago, because he's on a 7-month hiatus, and now it's a Wario 3 sub. But yeah, so I usually watch when my game reviewers that I like to watch JonTron when he did game reviews.
I watch some of his stuff too.
And I don't really watch a lot of game reviewers. I usually just kind of I'll catch Reddit articles here and there talking about games and stuff because I'm subscribed to a few subreddits, and I'll usually pick my choices from there. Um, I stick to my movie reviews a lot, though. I watch a lot of Chris Stuckman. That's my go-to for my movie reviews.
That name sounds familiar.
Oh, he's like one of the bigger movie reviewers on the website. It's like him, Red Letter Media, a few other ones. There's like 2 or 3 other ones, but Red Letter Media and Chris Stuckman are probably the 2 bigger ones on there right now. Um, so what's your eventual end goal in your writing?
Need a second to put that into words.
Oh yeah, no, it's no problem, man.
Because I know what it is, but I want to articulate it well enough.
Yeah.
I guess the proper way to put it would be similar to what I said before, to have gaming be treated seriously.
Right.
And to help get rid of the negative stigma that surrounds it by focusing on what makes it unique and how important it is to the world, and then also dedicating time to. This sounds pretentious, but contributing to helping game journalism be better or be taken more seriously by trying to do the best I can to craft works that are thought-provoking, original, and entertaining rather than shallow, generic, and dryly written.
I don't think that's pretentious at all. I mean, it's
Well, not the intention, but how I worded it. Like I'm going to help them do this.
oh no. I get what you're saying, man. Like, it's one of those places that needs a major overhaul in what the standards are. And right now it's so empty. You know, Video game reviews have always from what I can remember growing up reading, Nintendo Power or going on fucking GameSpot or, Game Informer and reading the Game Informer magazines. They really, you never really got to the meat and potatoes of everything or what makes a game unique. It was just like, oh, this uses this mechanic and uses this and uses that, and there aren't many bugs in it, but there are still some bugs. And I think this is just a really neat game. 7 out of 5. Like
Wait,
it.
7 out of 5?
Oh, you don't know that
Oh,
you don't know that meme?
no.
Oh.
I guess I'm not a true gamer. I've got to hand in my
Oh
pens.
no, no, it was a Reddit thing. Somebody was like, I don't know, I didn't really like it, but it was okay. 7 out of 5. But
Yeah, I know what you mean when you mention stuff like that. A lot of this stuff feels hollow, doesn't have a lot of personality. Um, but some what could be labeled more conventional reviewers are still good at what they do, like ACG, Angry Centaur Gaming. Um, their reviews are very detailed,
mhm.
and on a side note, they kind of gave me a direction to put my passion for analyzing what works and doesn't work within something, and seeing how it can be important.
Right.
Um, it fueled that and gave it some direction. And there's also a zero punctuation, which is
Yes.
kind of a mixed bag. It feels like they're shitting out zingers every 10 seconds because they feel like they can't keep their audience's attention unless they do that.
And he
But,
gets a little hypercritical sometimes.
well, I don't mind.
I, I don't mind it, but it's just like when a game's good and he's still like shitting on it, it's like, all right, man, you're just nitpicking at this point and making it like way out of proportion. But I do enjoy it. I'm subscribed to him and I watch him all the time. He's funny as shit. Um, what are your thoughts on Angry Video Game Nerd and Nostalgia Critic?
Really watch them from, but I've seen like a few stuff. Angry Video Game Nerd. You can see a lot of personalities have taken inspiration from him
Oh yeah.
for being a very adept individual at exaggerating his entertaining characteristics. Like the Angry Joe show is an obvious comparison.
Yep. When JonTron started, he was kind of the same way. He pulled a lot of shit from AVGN. And that was actually one of the biggest critiques of when he started. Was he was like trying to be too much like him, and then he found his voice and he hit his stride. I wish he'd go back to reviewing video games and stop doing infomercials and flex tape.
I don't know. Flex tape is the most important creation of mankind. It's gonna keep us stuck together.
Oh, Phil, you great Prometheus. Oh man. Yeah, I think AVGN and Nostalgia Cricket. Now Nostalgia Critic's kind of fallen off, and I'm not a big fan of his, but there's no denying that they've done some great shit for the video game community and like the review community. Um, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would go so far to say that they kind of started the cornerstone, where they're kind of part of the cornerstone of the YouTube reviews of video games.
Again, I haven't watched them, but based on all the talk there is about him still, and the memes, which usually represent how something is impactful and still relevant and is going to be relevant for a long time, yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. So do you have any advice for anybody that's, trying to be an aspiring writer or aspiring review writer or anything like that?
Well, it would tie back to what I said before, which is devoting uh, your time to figuring out why you want to do something, and then whenever slash if ever that question is answered, doing things pertaining to that goal that are self-fulfilling and helpful to both yourself and a group of persons in some way, because that's at least in my opinion a good way to legitimize what you want to do, doing something that's important to you as well as others, feeling like you're contributing something that aids other lives in the world.
Yeah, and that's a general good rule to follow is always leave something two times better than when you walked into it.
Yeah, like just don't just have passion and think it through.
Right.
Guide your passion, I would say.
Yeah, and that's something that I see a lot in young writers mostly, or people who are just starting to get into doing something, whether it be production or publishing or something like that. You can't let your passion overstretch your reach, you know, because that's the fastest way to fall is to outrun, let your ambition outrun your means. And I see it all the time with Kickstarters, Indiegogos. 90% of these things fail because nobody wanted to do the legwork. They just wanted to get it funded. You
Ready
know,
number 9.
and they run they run quick promotion campaigns that are like 2, 3, 4 months, and it's like they only build up 10 followers or something like that. And when they put their product out, nobody knows who they are. Nobody knows what they're doing. And you can have passion for something, but until you can sit back and clearly think about the path you need to take to get to your end goal, because it's almost like a honeymoon phase when you start something. Is you get all this
Yeah.
passion and all this fever for it, and you're like, I want to do this, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go. But the I use this a lot, but BoJack Horseman said it best in one of the episodes is that, when you're wearing rose colored glasses, all the red flags just look like flags. So when you're in that fucking mode, you don't see the warning signs. You don't see the writing on the wall going, you're gonna fucking fail. You need to slow down and worry about the process. Don't worry about the end goal. Worry about the process. And I think realizing your purpose and realizing why you're doing this and thinking really hard and meditating really hard on why are you doing what you're doing, um, will help people kind of slow down and rein in that need to push forward, not to the point to where they stop doing it, but rein it into where it's a controllable situation. It's like breaking in a horse. You're not going to jump on a horse and just, you're never going to be able to jump on a horse and just go. You got to break in a horse before it'll respect you and you'll be able to get to where you need to go. And it's the same, if you jump into this thing and you start going headlong into it without thinking about it, it's going to buck you off and you're going to abandon everything you did because it's going to hurt you so much and it's going to hit you so hard that you're not going to want to go back to it.
That's true. I had something similar happen when I was starting out the Ultimatum, which is my WordPress thing.
Right.
Um, I had, because of the name and because I wanted to expand beyond just games at the time, I was like, oh, I have to make a movie review, I have to make a television show review, I have to make a game review, I have to make a short story, I have to make political articles, which that was a fucking stupid idea. Um, just trying to build up the catalog simply because I wanted variety to show, hey, I can do stuff, and hey, there's gonna be more here. Where yes, that I still have that that option open for doing things, and I pursue uh, outside ideas once in a while. But once I reined it in, I stopped feeling less stressed. I began to realize that I would really was doing all of this stuff for stupid reasons
Right.
that weren't going to get me much progress.
Right. And I'm currently finally getting over that right now. So, doing the podcast, I was doing it every week and having to rearrange some people, I would do it twice a week and like back to back.
Oof.
Yeah. So right now I'm at a point where okay, I've got to pump the brakes and rebrand this before it drives me into the ground. And doing a show every week, sometimes twice a week, is just rough. And I'm kind of like, all right, you know what? I'm going to break it down. I'm going to do one show a month once I get through this list. I think I have two more shows that I got to get through before I'll start going to one a month. And when I start going to one a month, I'll be able to slow down. It'll help with the vetting process. It'll help with getting, easier to find people instead of having to scramble going, oh, fuck, I got a whole month that I got to fill up and I don't have anybody coming in, you know. And it's easier for me to manage because I was getting burnt out real fast. I was getting burnt out real fast. I had that first initial push of people from my Reddit post, and I had I think I had like 7, 8, or 9 guests from there that I could have pulled from that, and I think it was 6. I think you and one more person. I was able to, so yeah, it was so 7 because we're on episode 6 right now. So or 7, either way, there was either 6 or 7 people that I pulled, and that's half a year of content that I could have had, but I've now just crammed into the first month of the year, and that shit just it piles up real fast, and it's a very good thing that that people need to hear starting out is do not let your passion and your ambition get ahead of you because you'll fucking kill yourself, and you'll drive yourself into the ground with work and with pushing. It's a marathon, not a sprint, to get to the end. But so when can we look for some new stuff coming out on the WordPress, some new reviews and stuff like that?
As I mentioned before, I was doing the short-term stuff, but
Right.
just to give a bit of a different answer for good old content's sake, I guess. Uh, in the far future, I'm gonna go back to working on a 3-in-1 review that is going to express my opinions on Brace Yourself Games' Crypt of the Necrodancer,
Okay.
Devolve ASCII Soft's Katana Zero, and Giant Squid Studios' plus 505 Games' Abzu. And then after that, I don't know in what order they're going to appear in. I plan on doing a review of Activision's and Beanox's Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, as well as a review of Sony Pictures' film Brightburn.
Oh, that was a great film.
Uh, yeah. Let's go with that.
You didn't like Brightburn?
Uh, I mean, it was okay, but it was very disappointing. I think I and some other people, because I watched some reviews, like Jeremy Johns reviewed it, and I agree with some of his points when he said people rightly expected a deconstruction of Superman since this was a horror movie,
Yeah.
and it was such a tonal shift from what one would expect from such a film, and all I got was a kind of generic horror movie with some decent kills, and fuck me, that one kill where the guy dies by getting his jaw like ripped in half and exterminated. That
Oh,
was repulsive as fuck.
oh, I can feel that right now in my face. Oh,
Um,
no,
like
who
it
was
had
it?
some good.
That was Badger
I don't
from.
want to. I don't want to spoil who. Oh, you
No,
mean the
no, the
actor?
actor. The actor was Badger from Breaking Bad. Oh my god, that movie. That one was rough. That one was rough.
It had its moments, but it felt very vapid and disconnected in certain respects. Like it
I
didn't
can.
find a way to deepen itself with why characters started to do something. Like why was the main character suddenly evil yet still acting like a child? It like if you're gonna have a sudden shift, you can't have the in between stages without the proper development.
Yeah, yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that, and I'd probably have to give it another watch again to kind of look at it with a more critical eye. You know, I can definitely see that point of view because it does seem like he just goes from being a normal kid to being, you know, General Zod. You know,
Yet he still has like childish interpretations of what love is.
Right.
And just which is not a bad idea, but
The execution could have
they
been better.
handle. Yeah, that's to say the least.
Right. Right. But all right, buddy. Well, I think we ran through everything. I appreciate you having on. It was a hell of a show. Had a great time. We had a couple people come in, got some people in from the chat that we're talking back and forth. I'm gonna go ahead and upload this to YouTube. I'll put all the links to where to find you in the description. We got the links to the ultimatum on in the chat. They're gonna be down below in the description box, as well as a link to his Twitter. Go ahead and give him a follow. Go ahead and go check out his WordPress. Give him some love. And next week we are gonna be on, I think, with Draw and Talk with Tyler. That should be a fun show. You guys come back. We're gonna have some good times. I'll see y'all next week. Bye, everybody.